Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make a fresh strawberry pie. This is a perfect summer dessert. It takes fresh strawberries, cuts them into bite-sized pieces, and then coats them in this really nice homemade raspberry jelly, and then sets it all in a shortbread crust. So the first thing we need to do is to make the crust. There is a recipe as well as a video on the site that tells you how to do that. And then to start the strawberry pie, what we need to do is make the raspberry jelly. So you need to take one 12-ounce bag, that's 340 grams, of frozen unsweetened raspberries. Make sure they're unsweetened. And you can just either leave them at room temperature to defrost, or what I like to do is just put them in the microwave. So what you want is what I have here, is they're nice and soft. And then we don't want the seeds in the raspberry. So what we're going to do is take a large bowl with a fine mesh strainer, and I'm just going to dump the raspberries in there. And then what I like to do is I just take a spoon, and with the back of the spoon, just gently press the raspberries to try to release all the juices. And this will take about 10-15 minutes depending. Just until you want to keep pressing this gently until all that's left in the strainer is the raspberry seeds. Okay, so all that we're left with is the raspberry seeds, and this will give us about a cup of raspberry juice, which is about 240 milliliters. Now when you do this, make sure you take a spatula and just go across the bottom of the strainer, because you want to make sure you get all that raspberry juice. Okay, so that's done. So then what we're going to do is transfer all the raspberry juice to a medium saucepan, because what we're going to do is heat this almost until it boils, till it's really hot, and then we're going to set this jelly with some unflavored gelatin. So now we're going to sweeten this with 3/4 of a cup, that's 150 grams of granulated white sugar. And then to help with the flavor and to thicken it up a bit, 2 tablespoons of jam. Make sure it's seedless. You could use a raspberry, or I'm going to complement it with a blackberry jam, which goes very nicely. And then I'm just going to whisk all this until it's all mixed together. And I'm just going to now heat this until it comes to a boil. Okay, so put this over medium-high heat. And what we want to do is bring this to a boil and then reduce it and just simmer it for about 10 minutes, just until it thickens up a little. Now while that's heating up, we're going to take 1/4 cup, that's about 60 milliliters of cold water, and put that in a little bowl. And then we're going to take one package, that's 1/4 ounce or 7 grams of unflavored gelatin, and sprinkle that over the top. Try to just sprinkle it evenly. And then we're going to let this sit for about 5-10 minutes until it becomes all soft and spongy, and that will just leave that. Now unflavored gelatin normally comes in boxes with 4 of these envelopes. You can find it on the baking aisle of most grocery stores. So we're going to let that sit and bloom, as they call it, technical terms, and we're just going to heat the raspberry sauce. Okay, so it's just starting to bubble around the outside edge. So I'm going to turn the heat down to about medium, medium-low. And we're just going to let that simmer until it thickens up a little. So as you can see, our raspberry sauce is still simmering. We're going to let that thicken a little longer. And meanwhile, our gelatin has now bloomed, which means it's swelled and it's nice and soft and spongy. Now I'm just going to put this in the microwave for 10-20 seconds. I just want to dissolve the gelatin. So I'm going to start at about 20 seconds. So I'm just going to check that. Just stir it. Depending on your microwave, each one's a little different. But what we're looking for is all the granules to be dissolved and to be nice and warm. I'm just going to put this back in for about another 15-20 seconds. Okay, just stir it. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. It's quite clear. All dissolved. So now I'm just going to remove our raspberry sauce. It's nice thickened. The whole kitchen just smells of raspberries. That's the added bonus of making this dessert. Okay, so I'm just putting this in a bowl, and to that I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. That will just kind of perk up all the flavors. And then we're just going to also stir in our dissolved gelatin. And just stir all that together. Now we're going to use this jelly to coat the strawberries. But it's obviously a little too hot to do that. So what we're going to do is put this in the refrigerator, depending on how cold your refrigerator, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. What you're looking for is this to start to gel. And then we're going to, then we will be able to cut up the strawberries and coat it with the jelly. So just into the fridge for somewhere around an hour. Okay, our raspberry jelly is now thick. This is what you're looking for, wonderfully thick. And as this is setting up, periodically stir it because we want it to thicken evenly. Now, if you're like me and you get a little impatient and don't feel like waiting an hour or so for this to thicken in the refrigerator, what you can do is just take a large bowl and put a bunch of ice cubes in there, and then you can just kind of set that in there and it will thicken, gel a lot faster. But again, just periodically stir it so it gels evenly. And then, so we have that done. And then what we need is about 2 pounds, that's about 900 grams, or 4 cups, of fresh strawberries that have been cut up into bite-sized pieces. And so, of course, just take off the top. And then, I mean, you can really just cut these. Some people like to slice them, but I kind of like them in bite-sized pieces, and then just like so. Make sure you wash your strawberries and dry them. And then, so now what we're going to do is just take this lovely jelly. The raspberry flavor like really complements the strawberry flavor. You got the tartness of the and tanginess of the raspberries with the sweetness of the strawberries. It's just wonderful. So make sure everything's coated. Let's take a minute. Because you want all the strawberries covered with this wonderful jelly. This really takes a strawberry pie to a new level. I mean, a lot of times it's just lightly sweetened strawberries put in a pie crust, but I really like with the jelly. Okay. That's my dog Baxter getting a little worked up over something. Must be a cat in the neighborhood. Okay, so we're done with that. Now, what I have done, you got your, make sure that your shortbread crust has completely cooled. Now, if you like, and you want to seal the crust so that the strawberries don't soften it, you can, what I've done is just heated some apricot preserves. I just heat it in the microwave, and then lightly brushed the bottom and the sides of the crust, and just let it set for a bit and dry. Another great idea would be to just melt a bit of semi-sweet or bittersweet chocolate and then just rub the bottom. If you like strawberries and chocolate, which I do, but I just use the raspberry or the apricot preserves for this. And then we're just going to pile all that. Your family or your guests will just love this dessert. It's kind of a unique way to use strawberries in the summer. And then just kind of evenly pile that all. This is great because you can make this early in the day and then just have it in the refrigerator, and then when your guests come you can pull it out and impress them with this. Doesn't that look nice? All the jelly and the fresh strawberries. Now we do want this to chill a little more so that the raspberry jelly gels up a little bit and coats all the strawberries. So I'm going to cover it and put it back in the refrigerator for, say, 3 hours or so. So this would be a great dessert to make in the morning for the evening. And serve it, and with whipped cream, of course, is always welcome. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.